Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and I am starting week 18 of my Read What You Own challenge, where I've challenged myself to read 100 books that I already own before buying another book. As of this morning, I am on book 94, and I have 100 pages left in book 95. This is likely to be my last Read What You Own challenge video because I am really close to finishing. I am also going to Mexico this week in 2 days. And what I am going to do is going to read, a few of the books up to 99, up to book 100, which are normal length or shorter. And then my 100th book is going to be Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts. That is about 940 pages long. And I want that to be my final book. So this is actually probably going to stretch into week 19 because I don't think I'll be able to finish all 6 books that I have left in 1 week, especially since one of them is over 900 pages long. So, most of these videos afterwards are going to be done in Mexico, and I hope you enjoy the Mexican scenery coming up soon. I have finished book 95, Killer's Breed by George G. Gilman. Edge number 4, the most violent westerns in print, at least in the 70s. This is, I said, the 4th book in the series, and we see Edge critically injured from his last book, heading back to his homestead in Iowa, where he meets a family that has taken over his property and basically falls unconscious from his wounds. And then he is treated by a young woman. And there he falls into memory about his time in the Civil War in Virginia, my stomping ground. And it goes back and forth between what he does in the Civil War and his recovery under the hands of this young family, this young woman. It's okay. Gilman just has a very unclear prose style, in my opinion. It's I find myself rereading some passages, but it's a very violent story. And if you like that, like Criminality does, it's pretty good. I have a bunch of these other Edge Westerns. I'm probably going to at least continue on to book 5 eventually. But I wonder if this series is running out of steam for me. I have finished book 96, Vintage Season by Henry Kuttner and C.L. Moore, a novella originally published in the 40s and published in the Science Fiction Hall of Fame, Volume 2A, the greatest science fiction novellas of all time, edited by Ben Bova. When this story started off, I had this sinking feeling that I was not going to like it very much. It is a story of a man who is renting out a home to some very peculiar people, but he's also trying to sell his home at the same time. And things go a little bit awry, where he has assigned a lease to these strange people, but he does not want to move out of his house. And the people move in, and they really are kind of bizarre. Now, as I said, started off, I really was not enjoying it. I knew something was up with the bizarre people. And then it started going into the details of why they were so strange. And I started really getting into this novella. Without any spoilers, it sort of asks, why would strange people be gathering around a house that's really rather nondescript when there are better houses in the neighborhood for them to rent? And it seems that they could afford it. Do they have some sort of knowledge that other people don't? And that's really where this novella started taking off. I'm not going to give it a rave review. It's a positive minus or a mixed plus kind of book. I'm still glad I read it. I have finished book 97, The Children of Men by P.D. James. I am reading this for the End of the World book group with Gareth and Alan and a few other people. We will be doing a live stream discussion of this book at the end of the month. It is P.D. James' only science fiction novel. It was written in the early 90s, and in her future, men become sterile. All men, so no children are born for 25 years when the story takes its start. And I won't give you much detail on this story because it will be discussed in my live stream, but P.D. James is just really an excellent author. I'm reading her prose and going, dang, she's as good as a literary author. It's a really good book.
Hola, kitty. Hola, kitty. Oh. You're a good guy. Un gato bueno.
I have finished my 98th book, The Manitou by Graham Masterton, a classic horror novel from the 1970s. I originally read this shortly after the movie came out. I was probably like 14 or 15, somewhere around there. And this really deserves to be a classic in its genre. It is the story of a young woman who goes in the hospital with what she thinks is a bump on her neck. And the doctors think it's a bit odd, so they x-ray it. Kind of looks weird inside. So they decide to schedule some surgery for the morning, take that tumor off just to make sure things are okay. And after they send the young woman home, the doctor's reviewing these x-rays and goes, this looks really familiar. And then he's talking it over with another doctor. And they say, if I didn't know better, I would say that tumor is a fetus. Then it advances to a first-person narrator of Harry Erskine. He is a sham clairvoyant. He's not really clairvoyant. He just knows how to bilk little old ladies out of $25 a pop for a fake future. And this young woman, Karen, goes to Harry because she's really worried about her dreams. And she has this dream of this ship. It's a weird-looking ship. in a weird-looking time, in a weird-looking place. And so Harry sort of says, why don't you write down your dreams tonight and get back in touch with me in the morning? And you know, he's thinking about it after she leaves. And the dream is very reminiscent of another client. And the client just happens to be Karen's aunt, who came to him for one of these sham fortunes. And she told him this dream that she had of this strange ship at a strange time. And then it goes on from there, because this is a horror novel, and the tumor is an ancient evil ready to be reborn. I really liked this. I liked the character of Harry. He knows he's a sham, but at heart, he's a good man. He just bilking old ladies for their money. And this novel gets very Lovecraftian at the end. There's a scene with the great old ones. I guess that's a teeny bit of a spoiler, sorry. But if you have not sought out this horror novel, do yourself a favor. There are some shaky scenes, I think, that could have been done a little bit better. But this was either Graham Masterton's first novel or one of his first novels. And I just enjoyed this so much. I read it in the day. I'm here in Mexico. You can read it on the beach. You can read it while sipping on your cervezas. And it doesn't spoil the book at all. It's just a darn good read. Five chapters in, about 126 pages of Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts, and I'm feeling the need for a break. I don't think I'm going to count this as a DNF. I might return to it. I might not. I know Alan says it's one of his favorite novels, so I probably should give it another try, but right now I just want to read something different. I can't believe it's already Saturday morning. Third morning here. Just enjoying myself out by the beach. I like to be one of the early comers and just enjoy a nice semi-abandoned beach. I have finished my 99th book, The Death of Grass by John Christopher, a science fiction novel originally published in the 1950s. It starts out talking about a virus, a plague that's killing grasses in China, and it's going to be mass starvation in China. But scientists are not worried because they have a solution that's going to kill the virus. Unfortunately, this solution that's supposed to kill the virus actually just mutates the virus. And where it was only killing one form of grass in China, this virus is now killing all forms of grass. And it is spreading across the world. And it's hitting England. And of course, England relies on its grasses. They have dairy cows that eat grass. They have wheat. They have barley. They have rice. And all that's going to die with this plague. So there's going to be a very huge famine coming to England. And there are two brothers. One brother owns a farm somewhere in rural England. And the other man is a scientist named John, who has a family. He has a wife and two kids. And he gets forewarned that this plague is going to hit hard. And the new prime minister is going to crack down very strongly against people moving around England. So what he wants to do is he wants to get out of London into his brother's farm in time. Unfortunately, He misses that window by just a few hours, and he has to fight across England to get to his brother's farm. And this book really asks a lot of questions about what would you do to survive in an apocalypse that's coming? Would you kill to save your family? And who would you kill to save your family? Is anyone fair game? What would you do to other people who are willing to kill for their own good? It's that strong. It's a very powerful novel. The ending was a little predictable, not exactly the way I thought it would turn out to be, but still kind of predictable in the end. But still, this is a very interesting book about what people need to think about what they would do in an apocalyptic situation. Because this book is not set post-apocalyptic, really. This is during the apocalypse. This is the downfall of civilization. And I think this is a very strong positive review. Okay, it's on to book 100, which I'll be starting today. And that's going to be Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts. It's 946 pages long. Quite a mammoth. I have finished book 100, The Other by Thomas Tryon. This was originally published in 1971, and it is a classic in the horror or psychological horror field. It is set in 1935, somewhere in New England. There is a boy, about 13, and his brother. Their names are Niles and Holland. Holland is a very naughty boy. He likes killing animals. And Niles, he tries to cover up Holland's naughtiness. But there's more to that. The novel starts somewhere in the late 60s, maybe early 70s, about the time the novel was being written. And there is a narrator. It's a first-person narrator. And it's pretty clear that he is one of these two brothers. And he's sort of in this weird house. It's sort of a prison, sort of not a prison. And it's just very peculiar. And once you get to the narrator of the two boys, it switches into limited third person. And there are some confusing things going on because it's quite clear that something is not quite right. You know that Holland is a animal killer, but there's more to it than that. And it's really what Thomas Tryon doesn't tell you in the story, because you're reading along and you go on, that's kind of peculiar that he's not mentioning something. So you know that something's really off, and it starts getting darker and more twisted, and more bad events happen in this book. And I have to say that this is another book that deserves its classic status. You get to the afterword, and the author of the afterword is talking about it's a little bit like Henry James turn of the screw. Is there something supernatural happening in this story? Or is it just storytelling? Anyway, highly recommended. Excellent book. And I'm glad I finished this 100 book challenge on a book that I really enjoyed reading. Because 100 books is the end of the challenge. You can put a fork in me. I am done. Hello, Kindle Deals, my old friend. I can go on a buying spree again. I just got back from Mexico. It looks like the cats have been kind of busy playing with my bookshelves. That is a wrap for the Read What You Own 100 Book Challenge. Thank you for everyone who is tuned in to watch my silly little wrap-up videos. I'd also like to call out a couple of special fellow travelers on this journey. Criminali for starting this event 3 years ago. And we have Crystal at Fiber Artsy and MJ at Reading This Life. And everyone else who was participating in this challenge at whatever tier you feel comfortable. I am going to be doing a more detailed video in a week or so about what I think I really liked about this challenge and a couple of ideas where I think this challenge can go in future years. Thank you so much for watching and keep on reading.